Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something real. Something we all face at one time or another. Life breaking you. There are moments when life doesn't just hand you challenges. It knocks the wind out of you, takes your strength, and leaves you questioning whether you can go on. But here's the truth. When life breaks you, it's not the end. It's an invitation to rebuild, to reinvent, and to rise stronger than before. When life breaks you, the first thing you come to realize is that strength isn't what you thought it was. Most people think strength is about looking tough, about never crying, about never bending. But true strength only shows up when everything you leaned on collapses. When the paycheck doesn't come, when the phone call brings bad news, when someone you trusted lets you down, that's when you discover what you're really made of. You see, storms don't just test the tree, they reveal the depth of its roots. You'll never know how deep your roots are until the wind blows hard against you. Life's breaking moments are like those storms. They don't come to flatter you. They come to show you that what you thought would break you can actually shape you. It's in those nights when you can't sleep, those mornings when you don't feel like getting out of bed, that strength is forged. Not the strength of muscles, but the strength of spirit. The strength to stand when you feel like falling. The strength to smile when your heart is heavy. The strength to keep walking even when the road feels endless. That strength doesn't come from comfort, it comes from the breaking. And here's the paradox. What feels like the end of you is often the beginning of a stronger you. The cracks in your heart make room for deeper compassion. The losses you endure make space for greater appreciation. The battles you fight give you the confidence that you can survive more than you ever imagined. So when life breaks you, don't only see it as destruction. See it as revelation. It's showing you a version of yourself that you would have never discovered in ease. Brokenness reveals your strength. And once you've seen that strength, you can never go back to pretending you're weak. When pain shows up, the natural reaction is to ask, why is this happening to me? We often think pain is a punishment, some cruel twist of fate sent to make us suffer. But pain is not your enemy. Pain is a teacher, and like any good teacher, it doesn't always speak gently. Sometimes it shouts. Sometimes it knocks you to your knees. But always, it carries a lesson that can refine you if you're willing to pay attention. Think back on your life. The moments that shaped you the most were not the easy ones. It wasn't the celebrations or the smooth seasons that carved your character. It was the heartbreak, the disappointments, the losses, the failures. Pain forces you to grow. It makes you patient when everything inside you wants instant answers. It humbles you when pride was steering you off course. It sharpens your perspective, so you begin to see what truly matters and what never did. The truth is, pain introduces you to truths you wouldn't volunteer to learn. Nobody signs up for hardship, but hardship is often the doorway to wisdom. Think of the athlete whose muscles ache after hours of training. The pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's the signal that growth is happening. Life works the same way. The pain you're experiencing today may be the very pressure that is molding you into someone who can handle the blessings of tomorrow. And here's the key. You must decide how you interpret your pain. If you see it as punishment, you'll grow bitter, angry, resentful. But if you see it as a teacher, you'll grow wiser, stronger, more compassionate. You'll begin to understand others in their struggles because you've walked through your own. You'll be able to encourage someone else in their valley because you've been through the shadows yourself. So, the next time life breaks you and pain rushes in, don't curse it. Don't ask why me. Instead, lean in and ask, what is this here to teach me? Because every ounce of pain you endure is carrying a lesson about resilience, about patience, about gratitude, about love. And if you let pain teach you, it won't just leave you with scars. It will leave you with wisdom, with growth, and with a strength that nothing else could have given you. When life breaks you, one of the hidden gifts inside that breaking is clarity. At first, all you can see is the loss. The things that have been taken away, the dreams that didn't come true, the people who walked out, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers. But if you look closer, you'll see that what's being broken off often isn't what you needed in the first place. Brokenness strips away the unnecessary. Think of a sculptor with a block of marble. Every strike of the chisel looks destructive, pieces flying, edges crumbling, chunks falling away. But the sculptor isn't destroying the marble. He's removing what doesn't belong so that the masterpiece can emerge. Life works the same way. When things break off, it can feel cruel, but often it's life carving away your distractions, your unhealthy attachments, your pride, your illusions. What you're left with may look smaller, but it's purer, truer, more aligned with who you're meant to become. Sometimes it takes brokenness to show you that you didn't need the approval of everyone you were chasing. Sometimes it takes brokenness to reveal that the comfort you were clinging to was actually holding you back from growth. Sometimes it takes brokenness to strip away the false sense of control, so you can finally lean on faith, wisdom, and resilience instead of ego and fear. It's never easy when life removes things you thought you couldn't live without. But if you endure, you'll see that much of what was broken away wasn't serving your destiny. It was only weighing you down. Brokenness clears the clutter. It reminds you of what truly matters: your values, your relationships, your health, your purpose. All the rest is excess. And here's the beauty of it. Once the unnecessary is stripped away, you become lighter. You can move forward without the baggage. You can focus with sharper clarity. You can give your energy to what truly counts instead of scattering it on what was never essential. So don't fear the breaking. Don't despise the stripping away. What feels like loss may actually be liberation. What looks like the end of something may be the beginning of something far more authentic. Brokenness doesn't just reduce you, it refines you. It leaves behind not the false version of you, but the real one. And that's the self you can finally build a meaningful life upon. When you fall, it feels final. The ground beneath you feels cold, the silence feels heavy, and the weight of failure convinces you that this must be the end of your story. But here's the truth. Every fall carries within it the seed of a rise. The very moment you think you've been buried is often the moment you've actually been planted. And there's a difference. Being buried means the end. Being planted means a beginning. Think about it. No great comeback exists without a fall. You can't rise if you've never stumbled. You can't stand taller if you've never been knocked down. Falling doesn't disqualify you, it prepares you. It gives you perspective. It humbles your ego. It builds your courage. It teaches you to get back up with a stronger resolve than before. Look at history, at the men and women who changed the world. They weren't spared from falling. Abraham Lincoln failed in business and politics more than once before becoming president. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison before stepping into his destiny as a leader who united a divided nation. Their falls weren't the end, they were the foundation of their rise. The mistake most people make is that they confuse falling with failing forever. They think being knocked down means being counted out. But the ground is not your grave, it's your launching pad. Falling gives you the chance to rise with new wisdom. It gives you a deeper hunger for victory, because you know the pain of defeat. It gives you a story worth telling, because no one is inspired by a life that's never been tested. And here's the paradox. Often, the harder the fall, the higher the rise. When you've been broken to your lowest point, you gain a kind of strength and vision that you could never find at the top. You stop fearing failure because you've already tasted it and you survived. That freedom allows you to attempt greater things, to reach further, to climb higher. So when you fall, and you will, don't stay down, don't curse the dirt, don't believe the lie that this is the end. Look for the seed in the soil, look for the lesson in the loss, look for the opportunity hidden inside the setback. Because every fall is carrying within it a rise. And sometimes, the version of you that stands up after the fall is far greater than the version of you that fell in the first place. When life breaks you, you stand at a crossroads. You can either remain shattered, carrying the pieces of your pain like chains, or you can choose to rebuild. But here's the powerful part. You don't have to rebuild into the same person you were before. You can rebuild stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Brokenness may not be a choice, but rebuilding always is. Too often, people try to put themselves back together exactly as they were. They chase the old comfort, the old habits, the old ways of living. But why go back to what was, when life is offering you the chance to create something better? Think of a house that has collapsed. If you rebuild it the same way, with the same weak foundation, the same fragile beams, the same cracks in the walls, it will only fall again. But if you take the time to build it stronger, with better materials and a deeper foundation, it will withstand storms the old house never could. Your life works the same way. Rebuilding stronger means taking the lessons from your pain and weaving them into your future. It means asking yourself, what did this breaking teach me? Where was I careless? Where was I blind? Where was I weak? And then, instead of ignoring those answers, you use them as blueprints for your new life. That's how you rebuild, not just back to normal, but forward to greatness. It also means refusing to let bitterness be your foundation. Pain can harden you if you're not careful. It can make you cold, suspicious, unwilling to love or trust again. But rebuilding stronger means you rise with compassion, with humility, with gratitude. It means you don't just survive, you transform. You're not the same as before, and that's the point. You're sharper in wisdom, deeper in empathy, steadier in faith. And here's the beauty. When you rebuild stronger, you inspire others who are still lying in the rubble of their own brokenness. You become living proof that the human spirit can endure, that life can rise from ashes, that brokenness isn't the end, it's the beginning of a masterpiece. So when life breaks you, and it will make the choice, don't settle for being the same, don't settle for being bitter. Choose to rebuild stronger. Choose to become someone the storm could not destroy. Because in the end, strength isn't measured by how perfectly you avoided being broken, it's measured by how powerfully you rebuilt after you were. So, my friends, when life breaks you, don't despise it. Don't quit. Don't let brokenness be your grave. Let it be your workshop. Out of your broken pieces, you can build a masterpiece.